yourself in lights brighter than before. Leave all your tired times for shades of red and orange. Dance beneath neon signs. This is the only place where everything goes right. Don't let it go to waste. You can be everything you wanna be. You can be dangerous. You can be everything you wanna be. Imagine yourself here. Imagine yourself here. Imagine yourself here.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Keeping It Real with the Hombre. We're going to talk agave spirits and stuff today. We're going to have some fun. I hope you guys are ready. Hope you got your notebooks open too. Take some notes on some things. We're going to have some really interesting discussions. So, just to start off with some general announcements, of course, things happened from last week to now is our, for the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, our Santo Fino Extra Añejo has come in. I placed my order. I got my bottles already, and stuff's really good. I'm really happy with it. It tastes really good. If you didn't see the video I did, the review, it's really good. So I'm really excited about this for the group. Now, if you're not familiar with the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, it's a group that I formed, and I can give you a little history about it. When I first put it together, what basically happened was I was in a Facebook group, and I was seeing these things they were just starting to do barrel select programs. It was the beginning of the whole barrel select deal for tequila, and it was Sazerac that was doing it. And so I saw their tequila barrel select programs, and I said, hey, instead of having to be affiliated with a certain local store where only the people locally could get the tequila from the store, how about we put together a group where we get barrels and have them split up and shipped to people all around the country, and that way we can get these good barrels in the hands of people all around the country instead of just in one area. And I had a lot of people tell me, no, you can't do that. Other people have tried. Don't even try it. You can't do it. And meanwhile, while they're doing that, somebody in the group who is a Sazerac rep is DMing me saying, I can make it happen. We should do it. I can make it happen. I'm like, okay, this is a Sazerac guy. He's saying he can make it happen. These other guys are telling me it's not going to happen. Forget them. I'm going to do it anyways. And so I formed the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. And it was actually just called the Tequila Barrel Collective at that time, or the TBC. And I started it a Facebook group, and it was free. We didn't charge any membership on it. And the first barrels we did 3 barrels to start. And they were a Corazon de Agave, Blanton's Añejo, a Corazon de Agave Eagle Rare Reposado, and we did San Matias Gran Reserva single barrel. So those were the first 3 that we did. And so I flew to Mexico on my own dime. I met with Casa San Matias, did the barrel selection, selected the barrels. And there's some guys that are still with me now that were with me back then. And arranged to bring them in. And so then I told everybody, and we arranged for a retail partner to work with because I can't, I'm not licensed to sell alcohol, so I didn't do it myself. So you have to do it through a retail partner, and then the retail partner then ships it. And everybody paid the retail partner for the product. So we got it all coordinated. The Sazerac rep helped me get a retail partner that would ship it for us, put it all together, and was like, okay, here we go. So all the people that told me that I couldn't do it then were all of a sudden saying that the barrels were fake. I was a con man. I'm a ripoff artist. And I was like, okay, just ignore them. Don't worry, it's real. And so the first barrels came in, and everybody that bought them, at that point, we had to buy it by the case because the certain retail partner that we worked with wouldn't split cases up. He just wanted to ship a case. He didn't want to ship single bottles. So you had to buy it by the case. And it wasn't too expensive back then. It was like $45 a bottle, something like that, for Añejo and Repo. And I mean, it was very reasonable. It includes shipping and stuff too. So everybody got their cases. Everybody was happy, but people were still saying, oh, they're fake barrels, blah, blah, blah. And people were responding going, I got mine and it's really good. These barrels were really good. I really enjoyed it. And we sold them out pretty quick. We had at that point probably 2,500 people that were in the group. But there's only maybe 100 people total that actually it's less than that because we only got like 24 cases. So it's probably about 30 people that actually bought the product. Everyone there, I guess, was just to watch and see what's going on. And so, so then Sam Matthias became good friends with some of the people at the distillery. And so they messaged me and they said, hey, we're going to be we know you love Raysol. And we're going to be doing a 10-year aged 20th anniversary Raysol. And it's not released yet in the United States. We haven't talked about it yet, but we want to give you the opportunity to get the first barrel. Would you be interested in that? And I was like, absolutely. For the group, absolutely. So I said, well, come back out when we'll do a barrel selection. So I flew out on my own dime, second time, and I tasted through a bunch of barrels and found two that were really amazing. And I still have bottles from those two there on my shelves and stuff over here. And I actually still have some of the Eagle Rare and Blanton's Corazon de Agave too. And I found two that were really good. I'm like, okay, guys, I got two barrels that are really good that we're going to offer. This is going to be a little more expensive than the Corazon de Agave. And so be prepared. It's going to run about $265, $275 a bottle for Raysol. But everyone was excited about it. And then everyone again said, oh, he's going to steal your money for good now. These are fake barrels. They're not real. This is not going to work. He's a con man. We're telling you he's going to rip you off. Saying all this stuff about me. And the barrels came in and people bought them. And we worked with two different retailers on this because the first retailer we worked with, things didn't work out with them. And so then I arranged some good prices because Sazerac messed up one of the barrels where it just took forever for us to get it. And so they worked out a better price for us, so we should have got a lower price. But we partnered with Sip Tequila, and they charged us the retail cost and made more money off of it for us. So we weren't very happy about that. But that second part of that second barrel we ordered through Sip Tequila, and the rest of them we had distributed to different retailers around the country and tried to have it so they can just go pick it up. That was a big hassle in doing that. But the barrels were delivered and everybody got them and everybody was happy. But this whole time I'm footing the bill for a lot of this stuff myself, paying for it, my business that I was doing. I was generating income and stuff. I was spending my own money on doing it. And it wasn't until once people saw that people were getting these barrels and I was doing these things and I was doing this to support the brands, right? I started getting contacted by more and more brands saying, hey, we'd love to do a barrel with you. We'd love to do a batch with you. We'd love to do stuff with you. And as long as it was a brand that I know was doing things right, wasn't doing additives and was making good quality tequila, I was like, okay, we'd love to support your brand. We'd love to do it. So we've done a lot of things with the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. It's been a very reputable group. We've done, I think, close to 16 barrels and 16 batches and stuff now. And some epic stuff. We were the first to get the first two barrels of G4 5-year Extra Añejo. So we did 2 barrels of that we went through. We were the first to offer the G4 108 Blanco. We took the first pallet of that, and members of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective got that. And so I wasn't charging then either. It was a free group, but I still flying out to Mexico and coordinating and doing all these, the project planning and project, coordinating with all the importers and stuff. And it got to the point where I spent $30,000 the first 2 years of my own money putting it together. And so one of the guys from one of the industry guys that I used to coordinate through and stuff said, you should just charge a membership for it. That way, everybody that's in the group's serious about it. And secondly, it can help cover your costs of having to fly to Mexico and all the money and stuff you're putting into coordinating all this stuff. It'll help cover it. And I said, that's a good idea. And so I moved it from Facebook, and then Facebook used to shut us down because they thought we were selling stuff on the group. And so we actually had to shut down the group once and then start up another group. But they were getting kind of really strict about talking about alcohol. We couldn't put prices and stuff in there because they thought we were selling it. And so I moved it to Discord, and we charged $10 a month for membership, which is cheap. And what I wanted to do is pack as much benefits into it as possible. So not only do we do these special buys, but I also do it's a community. So I post all kinds of information there that I get from industry people first, things about new releases that are coming out. I post. People can ask me questions, and I'll answer the questions if they tag me. And there's a lot of really nice people in there that are agave aficionados that love agave, and they're part of the community as well. And it helps fund what I do. Since I don't charge brands to do reviews, I refuse to do that because I can't be unbiased and honest about the reviews and stuff that I do. And so we've done a lot of different batches and barrels, and we've got some really good stuff coming up as well. And I'm continually talking to brands and working out stuff for new batches and stuff as well. So this was when I interviewed Sammy Hagar. I mentioned the group in the interview, and he said, hey, we just did a single barrel repo program before. We had a bunch of retailers buy it. Maybe I'll have a barrel that we can share with you or something. And so then he said, I'll connect you with my CEO, and you can work things out. And so then when I talked to the CEO, he said, hey, we have an extra añejo. We've never done an extra añejo before. So you'll be the only ones in the world getting it, because we're really not planning on doing an extra añejo. And it'll be a single barrel extra añejo, and that'd be something really special for your group. So you can, use that for your membership and for the aficionados, so they can try some of our really good quality tequila. We'll send you samples. You can try it, see if it's a way you want to go or not. If not, then we'll look at something else. And they sent me the 2 samples. One of them was really good. The first one was not so good. And I said, you need to age it a little more or mix that in with your añejo or something. But the second one was good. We'll take the second one. So that's this one here. So this is the only bottle, the only batch of Santo Fino extra añejo that's available anywhere. It's not available anywhere else in the world. This is it, and it's a single barrel that I selected. I don't even think that Sammy and Guy Fieri have them. Sammy Hagar and Guy Fieri. So I'm reaching out to see if they need, and I'll send them a couple bottles at my expense. And then I want to kind of arrange too to see if we can do a meetup to have them sign bottles for members and stuff, if they'll do that for us. So if you're not a member of the collective, we'd love to have you join the collective. It's $10 a month. I'll put the link in the description when it's done. I don't think it's in there right now. It might be in there right now. So it's $10 a month. It's nothing. It's like what 1.5 Starbucks a month, if that now. I think Starbucks has gone up in price a lot. But we try to give you a lot of benefits, as like even when there's allocated bottles on Ferment and Still, I talk to them and arrange for us to allow members from the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective to get first access to them. So some of the stuff that's hard to get at the stores and stuff, a lot of times the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective members get them. They get them first. And then if there's anything left over afterwards, then we'll release them on Ferment and Still. But otherwise, members of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective get them first. So they've got a lot of stuff that's been allocated. A lot of people are like, hey, are you guys getting this? It's like, no, sorry, we already got it, but it went to the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. So there's a lot of good benefits to it. But in order to really get the most benefits, you have to use and access the Discord app or the Discord website. because I post all the information there. I don't send emails out. I don't notify anybody that way. So we'd love to have you join. $10 a month. It's a fun group. And we have a lot of good conversations and post a lot of fun things. There's all different kinds of channels with information. There's even like all 50 states listed. And then we post all the bars and restaurants with good selections of agave spirits. So if you're traveling, you can go in there and access it and get some information, and people in the community share those. We have cigars and tequila pairings. We have all the different cigars, mezcals, sotos, raicillas, all that stuff is all listed in there, where we talk about all the different topics and stuff. And then I put all the buys for the Tequila Barrel Agave Collective. So current buys, you can make suggestions if you see something that you want us to do. You can put in a suggestion on a buy you'd like us to do, and then I will look into doing it. And if we can, and what I do when I get information about a buy, I always post it in the group first and ask about interest to see if everybody's interested in it. I don't just do a buy. And if everyone's interested in it, then we move forward. If everyone's not interested in it, then we don't move forward. So that's why it's called the collective, because everybody gets input into what we do and what kind of buys we do. And so it's a great group. So we'd love to have you join if you're not a member. And those of you that are members, I know there's some people here. EBA Boxing 101's a member. Thank you, EBA, for being a member. The one I think is a member. I'm not sure if he's a member anymore or not. Kenneth Ray, I believe, is a member still. There's a few people here that are members. So thank you for your membership. Thank you for supporting what I do. And this way too, by joining the collective, or even joining the YouTube channel, that's what funds what I do. So I don't charge brands for reviews. They can just send bottles, and then if they're good, we'll stock them on Ferment and Still. And so Ferment and Still now is the home for the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. So I don't have to look for retailers anymore. We have a good partnership with them. So anything that we want to get, they will pick it up for us, with the caveat that we sell it. We sell it all. And so that's another thing too, is everyone's like, oh, you make all your money off the Ferment and Still and stuff. It's like, no, actually the money that we make on Ferment and Still goes to buying these barrels and these batches and stuff, because stuff's not cheap. So, and as long as we can sell the stuff on there and get rid of the inventory, because the partner we have doesn't want to sit on that inventory because it costs them money, then we can keep buying more stuff. So it's a great group. So sometimes though, everyone doesn't pick up everything that's in the batch or buy or whatever. So then we'll open it up to the public just so we can move it, so we can afford to buy the next stuff that's coming in. So, but it's a great group. I love it. I love the people in there are awesome. They're amazing. And we have a good time, and everyone's real civil with each other and shares their thoughts and feelings. And there's no fighting or bickering. And if there is, I normally will shut it down pretty quick. So that's it. So let's check in with our viewers that are commenting. Hey, cheers, Tater Dom. Good to see you, buddy. You're back. We missed you last week. EBA 101. Hey, what's up, buddy? EBA Boxing. Sorry, it's not EBA 101. It's EBA Boxing. Normally it's EBA 101. Sully Biz. Well, thank you. No, you're the best. You're the best, my friend. Bienvenido, welcome. Glad you can make it tonight. Kenneth Ray. Kenneth Ray's in the house. Welcome, buddy. Let me see, where are we? Tater Dollars, okay. Hey, the one. Good to see you again, buddy. Bienvenido, welcome back. Glad to have you. 818 Creations. 818's in the house. Sipping on some G4 Madeira. Nice. Dylan Put. My man, do you happen to have a favorite reposado? Ooh. I have a bunch of favorite reposados. Quicksilver. Bienvenido, welcome. Glad you can make it, buddy. Quicksilver's a member. He's a member. So, yeah, we got a bunch of people that are participate in this stuff that are members of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. So I hope you got your pads and papers out, because we're going to talk a little bit about some interesting information here, because there's some stuff that's going to be happening here in the tequila world in the next week or so. It's going to be kind of interesting for everybody. So I want to explain how this stuff works so you guys have the knowledge and stuff to know what you're talking about and when people start talking about it. But according to our president of the United States, Donald Trump, he's going to be instituting tariffs effective February 1st. That's what he said this week. So, and he says that the countries are going to pay for it. So let me see. Oh, Rick Strokes. Yeah, Rick. Hey, we're excited to have you try it too. So make sure you grab your bottle. All the information's on the Discord on how to access the exclusive area. So, but welcome, bienvenido. Thank you for your membership. I appreciate you. So, he's going to start implementing tariffs, and he's going to put a 25% tariff on Mexico, on everything that comes in from Mexico. So I want to talk a little bit about tariffs because there's some misinformation in there about how they work. So he said he thinks the countries are going to pay for it. That is not accurate. Here's the way tariffs work. And I know this because I've brought batches in, when I do my barrel buys and stuff, and I've worked with the importers and I've worked with the distilleries, and I've brought batches in, so I know how this works, okay? So here's the way it works. When a brand is being imported into the United States, unless the distillery is importing it themselves, which a lot of times they're not, they have importers, they just sell it to the importer. So the importer goes to the distillery and says, hey, I want to import this brand. Let's, for example, say it's Viva Mexico. I want to import Viva Mexico. And the distillery goes, okay, how much do you want to buy? In order to start, you need to at least buy a batch, which is, about a pallet of tequila. And the importer says, okay, I'll take, a pallet or 2 pallets. And they say, okay, so then they'll make the tequila. Actually, they require a down payment, a payment first. I got just something on my lip. They require a payment first. So they put half down, or they'll pay for the entire batch up front. And then they'll make the tequila. Then they bottle it, put the labels on it. And then the importer has to arrange for transportation to get the product from the distillery into the United States. So they'll hire a truck to go pick up the pallet or pallets, depending on how much they buy. So they have the truck go to the distillery. The distillery picks up the truck, or the truck picks up the product. They load it on with a forklift into the truck, and the truck drives it down to the border or to the boatyard if they're bringing it in on a cargo ship. It all depends on how they're bringing it in. Most of the time, they bring it in on a truck through the border. So the importer is then responsible for making sure all the labels have been registered with the TTB, which is the tax board here. And all the trademarks and stuff are certified and registered here in the United States. So the brand's coming in, the TTB has to approve the labels. They make sure everything's good before it can be brought into the United States. And once they get label approval, they also have to make sure the taxes are paid in Mexico, and they also have to make sure that the brand is registered. If it's a new brand, the brand has to be registered in Mexico. If it's not already, it's got to be registered in the United States as well. And then they'll truck it down to the border, and the importer then will be charged the taxes and stuff at the border. So the importer would then, in this case, pay the tariff. So let's say I'm importing the product. An additional 25% is going to be tacked onto that product to me. Not to the distillery, not to Mexico, but to me, an American person that is importing the tequila. I'm going to pay 25% more now because of the tariff. So I have one choice. If I was already bringing the brand to the United States, I can keep the price the same and try to eat the tariff on my profits, which would leave me with nothing probably, because most of the time they try to get a 30% margin, not percent markup, but percent margin. Margin and markup are different. But that 25% tariff would eat up a lot of that. And so a lot of times they're like, well, I still have to cover the trucking. I have to cover the warehousing of the product once it gets in the United States. I have to cover a lot of other different things. I'm not going to be able to eat the 25%. So what do? They jack up the prices of the product, increase the prices, so they can get that 25% covered and still make their profit. So then what happens is the importer brings it in, and if they're not licensed to be a distributor, some of them are distributor importers and some of them aren't. Some of them have distributors that will place purchase orders with them, and they'll send the product to them. After it gets to the warehouse, they'll truck it out to all the different distributors. But when they give the pricing to the distributor, it's going to have that 25% increase in it automatically. So then the distributor picks up the product and goes, okay, this is more expensive now. There's a price increase. So we're going to increase our price so we can maintain our profit and be able to cover our expenses. So they increase the price. So then the way our system works is it's a 3-tiered system here in the United States. We have the importer, we have the distributor, and then we have the retailer. In order to be a retailer, like a restaurant or a liquor store, you have to purchase your spirits, your tequila, your wine, and everything. Well, not necessarily wine. Wine and beer you can buy directly from the winery and stuff now. But liquor, you have to buy from a distributor. So then the distributor then goes to the retailer and says, okay, we have your product, but there's a price increase. So this is what the price is going to be now. And then the retailer will look at it and say, okay, well, we were only charging this much, so we're not going to make what we need to make to keep our lights on, to be able to afford inventory, to keep things restocked. So we're going to mark it up even more so we can make money on it and afford to run our business, pay our employees, and all this other stuff. So then they increase the price as well. So what does that mean to us, the consumers? It means when we go into the liquor store and pick up a bottle of Blanco that used to cost $45, it's probably going to be somewhere around $60, $65. That could be the norm for what we're going to see. So imagine just marking everything up 25% across the board. We're going to probably see that here real soon. So what a lot of brands are doing, and so we can even see prices too increase just because of the threat of the tariff. Because what some brands are doing is they're like, well, I don't want to pay an extra 25%. I'm going to bring a bunch in before the tariffs go into effect. But by doing that, they have to expand their warehousing. They have to get more space to warehouse all the product, and they're going to be paying more in warehousing fees. So they say, well, I need to cover this more warehousing fees now because I'm bringing more product in. I'm going to be sitting on inventory longer, so it's going to cost me more in warehousing. It's not just all going to move out because I'm going to keep it here until the distributors order it. So I'm going to jack the prices up so I can cover being able to buy more inventory as well as being able to keep my warehousing in. So the prices are going to go up. And they're going to go up so they can afford to buy more product to bring in and try to get it in at a lower price. And also be able to cover their tariffs that they're going to be charged at the border. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a really good possibility that we're going to get a huge price increase in tequila products across the market. Because a lot of these importers, they want to make money. Same with distributors. They're not going to eat a 25% bite out of what they're making. That's a big, huge bite. So stock up now while you can. Get the product while you can that you like. And right now we have some stuff. I have some stuff that we're supposed to be bringing in with the barrels and stuff that we're trying to get in here before the tariffs happen. Just so then we don't have to worry about increasing the suggested retail price that we've given people based on what we originally were getting the product for. It's just a matter of how quickly we can get it here and across the border before all that goes into effect. So, and yes, well, basically, yeah, the end of the day, the poor get, because it's gonna cost everybody more money. Prices are going to go up. They're not going to go down. And they're going to go up a lot faster than they really should have. So it's one of the reasons why people call tariffs a tax, a consumer tax, because basically we're the ones that pay it, not the other countries. So it makes it more expensive for us to buy it. And it's like, okay, well, if they make it in the United States, it'll be cheaper. Well, you can't make tequila in the United States. It's not allowed. You can only buy tequila from Mexico. You can buy agave spirits here. So if you want to buy agave spirits from California or from another state or whatever, go ahead, you can. I haven't found any yet that were as good as the products that we get from Mexico. Yes, exactly. Sales will slow down, and or just the people that can afford to will be the ones that are buying it. What happens when sales slow down? Everyone thinks, well, sales slow down, prices are going to get cheaper. No. Because if I'm sitting on a bunch of inventory and it's costing me money, I need to raise prices to cover, for the stuff that I do sell, to cover my overhead, my extra inventory costs, my extra warehousing costs. Prices aren't going to go down. It's just they're not going to be ordering anymore. They're going to try to sell out what they have at the prices that they're selling them at. It's like, I can afford to sit on it, we'll sell some, and then we're not going to order any more. So who does this hurt? It hurts us because, it's more expensive for us to buy the agave spirits that we like. And in the long run, it could hurt the distilleries because they're not selling as much tequila anymore. Hey, Raul. Bienvenido. Welcome. Glad you can make it. Absolutely. Yes. It's the small guys that are going to be affected more. I mean, Cuervo, they can afford to sit on product, and Proximo Spirits, the big guys, the big liquor, because they got all the other things that they're doing too. So the thing that you're seeing a lot of importers do here as well is they're picking up other things. Like some importers I work with, they don't just do tequila and agave spirits. Some of them have bourbons and gins and vodkas and stuff, and other things that they bring in too that help. So if tequila slows down, they still have their other spirits and stuff that they're selling, and some of them are Americans. They don't have to worry about importing them, so they don't have to worry about tariffs on them. But even like he's talking Canada and Mexico, all the Canadian whiskeys and stuff that people like, and the beer, what's the beer, the Molsons, and even like the Modelos and stuff like that down in Mexico, they're all going to get price increases too. Yeah, you may have to go back to whiskey. I mean, except for Canadian whiskey, right? But we'll see. He said effective February 1st. So be prepared. So buy your stuff now, and you can weather the storm and we can see what happens and go from there. I've got enough. I mean, I'm good. But now's a good time to start stocking up. And inventory is good. Ferment and still and stuff. So grab some of the stuff now when the prices are still cheap, and keep yourself busy. That's what I'd recommend. I've been buying stuff and stocking up on the stuff that I like. I've got enough Ocho to last me for years. And we'll see what happens. So, any questions? You guys have kind of understanding of how tariffs work? The countries don't pay for them. They don't pay them. The consumers pay. We're the ones that pay. So, unfortunately, we're the ones that are going to have to foot the bill on it. But, hey, you'll still buy it probably, just not as much, right? I know I'll probably still buy bottles, but I probably won't buy as much. I'll probably enjoy tequila every once in a while. I mean, I still have brands that send me stuff for reviews, so I'll still keep doing reviews and telling you guys about it. And what you may see is some less expensive brands coming in, because it might be a good time to explore some of the newer brands that are coming in that are lower priced instead of the established guys. Because the established guys are the ones that they're not going to lower their prices because they've already established their worth, right? But with the price of agave where it is, there's some other brands that are coming in that are inexpensive. And so maybe it's a time to start exploring those brands and giving the new guys a shot and trying some new stuff. So the ones that send me tequila, I'm definitely gonna tell you guys about it. One of them was like El Viejito. They're new to the country, and they're really very low priced for as good a quality as it is. I love the El Viejito Plata. That stuff, the 50% Plata, is amazing. And then the Repo is really good too. So that's in the Extra Añejo. We're getting that in. It's like $76. And it's good. It's a good. And then you can do San Matias Gran Reserva for $58 or whatever. I mean, look at more of the budget stuff. Even like Pueblo Viejo. It's a steal at the price that they charge for that stuff. So you can look more towards the budget stuff or new brands that are coming in that are priced lower because they haven't already established a worth. Once you start paying $49 for a brand, the chances of them lowering the price, slim to none. They're not going to go, okay, yeah, we're getting agave for cheaper now, so we're going to drop the price down to $29 a bottle when you were paying $49 for it. No, they're just going to make more money. Because sometimes they didn't do price increases when agave was expensive. So they needed to make money now because they didn't make it back then. And with the cycle of agave too, it's going to get to the point where agave goes back up in price when there's a shortage again. So they need to prepare for that. When that happens, let's put some savings and stuff aside. So that's coming down the pike. So keep an eye out. You'll see. But right now there's some good stuff to be had at really good prices. And I love telling you guys when there's something that's, reasonably priced and stuff that's good, like another commercial for the Santa Fina Extra Añejo. This is $105.99 for an Extra Añejo. I mean, that's an amazing price for this quality of an Extra Añejo. $105.99. That's that's Añejo prices now. So this is like 44 months in the barrel. That's a good price. All right. So, I'm going to be doing a review probably this weekend, and I'll get it up next week probably, of a new thing that came out. I want to talk to you guys about this one. They got me a bottle of it to do the review because some people had asked about it, but it's the Corazon Expressions. Have you guys ever tried the Corazon Expressions line? I know you might have tried the regular Corazon de Agave line, but the Expression line is their premium line. And the Expression stuff is really a lot better than the regular Corazon de Agave line. So this is aged in a 12-year Weller barrel, and I think, how long is it? It's rested for 48 months, I think. No, not 48. What is it? It says on here. What is it? 26 months. Rested 26 months in a 12-year Weller barrel. So they sent me a bottle of this to do a review. This is something that's available now for those of you that are whiskey fans. Might be something you want to check out. So I'll do the review on this and have it up next week. But if you haven't found any Corazon Expressions bottles, and you haven't tried one, check them out. They're even better than the single barrels that they do. They use a higher quality Blanco for these, and they pick the best barrels for them too. And the Expressions line is amazing. The first year they did the Expressions line was 2013, and I have a Buffalo Trace still from the original line, but they did Pappy. They did a Pappy barrel back then, and they got kind of yelled at from Pappy, like, you can't do that anymore. But that was the first and only time they had Pappy. But they do Weller, they do Buffalo Trace, Eagle Rare, they do Sazerac Rye. They do a bunch of different expressions for this line, and they change them every year. And it's really good quality stuff. So this is barrel number 6, bottle number 76. This was bottled on July 12th of 2024. Do I have a Pappy Van Winkle expression? I wish I'd gotten one back in the day. No, they were gone. They sold out really fast, so I wasn't able to get one. But I still have the Buffalo Trace, which is a collector's item now too. People would kill for that one, because they actually said the Buffalo Trace was the best expression from that group. So I'm glad I still have the 2013 Buffalo Trace, but I haven't popped it yet. I had 2 bottles. I drank one, and it was really good. So it was really good. So some other things that are happening. Ocho is coming out with a new añejo. Forest is aged in Forester's barrel. I got an update from the brand that it was delayed coming to the United States from Mexico, but they said they should have some more information for me by the end of the month on when it should be here. Ferment and still will be getting it, so that's good. And I'll post when I get information. I always post updates and stuff on this stuff up on the Discord group, on the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective group. So all of you that are members, you'll see the updates when I post it. So that should be really good. Especially if you're a bourbon person. They've been doing some really great things when they did, Widow Jane and the other stuff that they're doing with, was it Heaven's Hill? That, bought the American part of Ocho Tequila from, what was the other company that owned it? I forgot the other company. Drawing a blank on their name. But they're going to be doing some really cool things with the barrels and stuff. And so I may stop by and say hello to Carlos when I'm in Mexico on my next trip. I haven't stopped and seen him in a while. I saw him at one of the events. He's like, why don't you come see me anymore? I'm like, I need to see you. So I'll stop by and see him. Go have lunch with him over at the Los Alambiques, because they have a cafe by the distillery. So they have a nice restaurant, bistro. So it's pretty cool. Yes, Heaven Hill. Yeah. So Heaven Hill owns the U.S. half of the Ocho. So they partner with they bought Tom Estes, or not, yeah, Thomas's Estes part of the business. What's that? Didn't you promise us a first trip to Mexico story? Oh, oh yeah, I can do it. Well, a first trip to Mexico story. All right, you want a funny first trip from Mexico story? Okay. So this is actually the second trip story. But when I went to go get the barrels from, how about a good story and then a nightmare? How about that? So when I went to get the second barrel, do the two barrels buy for Ray Saul, I was at this point kind of treated like a VIP with Casa San Matias. And when I went, I did the barrel selection stuff. They came in and they said, well, Carmen Villarreal, she's the owner of Casa San Matias and the CEO, president, whatever. Said she wants to have dinner with you, so we're going to have dinner with her later. I said, okay, great. So after we finished doing the barrel selection, and we were drinking Cantaritos and at the distillery, just having fun, and I've become really good friends with the two gentlemen that I work with at the distillery, to the point where they're basically part of my family now. I still talk to them these days, even though both of them are no longer with the distillery. But one of them's just recently had a baby girl, and he's became a dad, and the other one's out on his own doing some consulting and stuff work now. And so he always runs stuff past me, and we talk. And they both have met my wife before, and we've had dinner and lunch with my wife, and so they're basically part of my family. They're good friends. They're like my brothers. But they're like, okay, they dropped me off at the hotel, said, okay, get cleaned up and stuff, and dress fairly nice or whatever, and we're going to go to a nice restaurant, have a nice dinner with Carmen Villarreal. So she brings me to a restaurant called El Tequila in Guadalajara. And she is a vegan. So we sit down at dinner, and she orders everything, for appetizers and stuff in Spanish. And at that point, my Spanish wasn't so good, so I didn't understand what she was ordering. And she looks and she goes, Mark, I took care of ordering appetizers. I hope you enjoy them. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the appetizers come, and I'm like, get one of the plates. I'm like, oh, this looks really good. And these are like noodles or something. Put them on the plate. I'm like, oh, these look really good. And then the second plate comes through, and I'm like, oh, they pass the plates around. You put a little bit on your plate. I'm like, what are these? And I look, and they have legs, and they're like this big. And I was like, ooh. And she's like, oh, they're grasshoppers. I hope you enjoy. And I was like, grasshoppers? Yeah, grasshoppers. I'm like, ooh. So she's like, yeah, those noodle things that you thought were noodles? I'm like, yeah. She goes, those are worms. I was like, no. I wanted you to try something different, something special. So I'm like, bugs? You call me a VIP and you're feeding me bugs? So I tried them. I mean, they weren't bad, but I'm like, okay. So after we made our way through the appetizers, I got to order regular stuff for dinner. But I looked at Carmen and I go, okay, promise me, anytime we have dinner in the future or have a meal together, no insects, please. She agreed. So I've eaten with her a couple of times since then, but so then the nightmare part of the story is while I was there on that trip, I went and did some tequila shopping, and I can tell you I'm coming back. So while I'm there, of course, I'm doing tequila shopping, and I have I was there for like 5 or 6 days. So I had other distilleries that wanted me to come by and see their places. And so I did. And I was picking up all kinds of bottles of tequila and agave spirits and stuff to bring back. And I found 42A there in Mexico. And I was like, ooh. And there were Los Abuelos bottles. So I bought like 2 añejos, like, 2 Lot 42 añejo, actually 3 of them, Los Abuelos. And then I got like 1 Fortaleza, because they'll sell both of them in some of the places you can find Fortaleza and Los Abuelos. And then I got, Los Abuelos Repo and Still Strength Blanco and stuff for Fortaleza. And this was back when it was, reasonably priced. But the Lot 42A is a treasure bottle, of course, because they mixed extra añejo in it. So I was like, okay, great. And I ended up, and then Casa San Matias gave me a bunch of bottles of stuff. I was the first person in the United States to have the Toona añejo. It wasn't in the United States yet. They gave me a bottle and they said, you're the first one in the United States to have it. So I reviewed that one when I came back with it. And then I realized, okay, I have a 50-pound limit on my suitcase. And I'm like, oh. So I asked the hotel, I'm like, do you have a scale where I can weigh my suitcase on and stuff? Like, well, you can try to use the scale in the gym. And I'm like, we'll see. And so I tried it. And I knew I had 18 bottles of tequila that I was bringing back. 18. Now I knew with the agreement that in California that you can have up to 60 liters. You can bring up to 60 liters back when if you're flying or on a cruise ship, steamboat, or I forget what they call it, but you can have up to 60 liters back. So I knew I wasn't going to get in trouble. I just would have to pay duties on it. So I'm like, okay, I can't fit all this into one suitcase. So then I Ubered to the mall and I bought another suitcase and then I split my clothes up and put half my clothes in one suitcase, half in the other. And then I used those to wrap around the bottles, and I had bubble wrap and I wrapped those around the bottles and tried to secure the bottles in the suitcases so they didn't break. So while I'm sitting there packing bottles, one of the bottles takes a tumble off the bed that I had them all laid on and shatters on the floor. And I was like, no. And the bed wasn't that far from the floor either. It was like maybe a 3-foot drop from the floor, from the top of the bed to the floor, like somewhere around there. It was lower to the floor. So I was surprised that it broke. But it was a Lot 42A Los Abuelos that fell to its death. And so I was like, oh no, of all the bottles to break, it had to be one that was one of the ones that was like one of the treasure bottles. So I cried. I cried really hard as I'm using hotel towels to clean up the glass and clean up the tequila. And I'm like, oh, when the cleaning lady comes in here, it is going to smell like tequila for her. Because this was like the morning that I'm leaving. So I finally got them all packed up. I was below the 50-pound limit on both the bags, thank God. So I didn't have to pay extra. I just had to pay extra for the second bag. I was below the weight limit on them, so they didn't charge me extra on top of it. So then we fly into the airport, and this is where things get rough. And this is something where you guys can learn a little bit about this too. If you're from California, you're flying into California, you're allowed up to 60 liters. But at 60 liters, anything over a liter, you're still are supposed to have to pay for the duties on them. Yeah, the Fortaleza bottles are very delicate. They break real easy because they're hand blown glass and stuff on them. So I get to the airport and I'm going through customs, and they said to me, you know, where are you coming from? I'm like, Mexico. Are you bringing back anything you need to declare? Yes. What are you bringing back? Tequila. How many bottles are you bringing back? It's about 18. And they go, 18? I said, yeah, 18. And they're like, you're not allowed to bring back 18. I go, no, I'm allowed. And they're like, no, you're not allowed to bring back 18. You're only allowed to bring back a liter. And I went, no, that's incorrect. I'm allowed to bring back 18. And they said, no, you're only allowed a liter. We can confiscate all of your tequila. And I went, no, you can't. And they're like, no, we can. Please go to our holding area. I'm like, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. He's like, no, you need to know before you go, sir. You need to know before you go. That's our saying, know before you go. Just because you didn't know the rules doesn't mean you can just come through here with 18 bottles of tequila. I go, no, I can come through here with 18 bottles of tequila. I'm allowed up to 60 liters with an agreement. Like, no, you got to know before you go, sir. Go to our holding area. This is at midnight. So I'm getting a little pissed because I've been traveling all day, preparing to travel stuff. It's midnight California time. And I'm like, I want to go home. So he's like, just wait in that holding area. So I'm sitting in this holding area, and he come by and go, oh, you Mr. Smart Guy, I think you could bring 18 bottles of tequila in. You know, we can confiscate all your tequila. We can just take it all from you. I'm like, no, you can't. He's like, no, we can. And I go, just get your superior officer. So he's like, all right, you know, stay here in the holding area. So I'm sitting there mad. I'm texting my wife. I'm out. The Border Patrol stopped me, or the Customs stopped me. I'm stuck in the airport still. So then the senior officer comes by and he goes, so what's going on here? And the junior officer is like, oh, he thinks he can bring back 18 bottles of tequila. And I go, look, I know I'm allowed to bring back up to 60 liters with an agreement that Customs has, U.S. Customs has with the California ABC. I'm allowed to bring back 60 liters as long as I'm willing to pay the duty on it, which I am willing to do. He's like, well, how much is all your tequila worth? I'm going, probably $300 or $400. Some of it was gifts that you can't buy. So he's all, oh, you know, it was 16 bottles. He goes, the duty's only going to be like $30, and the cashier's not here. So we're sorry for your inconvenience, sir. Go ahead and grab your luggage and go ahead and go. An hour and a half later. So now, my advice to you is if you're traveling to Mexico and you're going to pick up tequila there and come back with it, know the rules for your state, what your state allows you, and print it out. I printed it out off of the, after that, any trip I go now, I print it out off the california.gov website, and I fold it up and keep it in my pocket. And so when they say, you know, you're not allowed to do that. No, here, look, it says right here, 60 liters. I knew before I flew. It should be something like, instead of know before you go, you should have knew before you flew. And that way you're protected, and they can't take it from you. Now you may have to pay a duty on it if the cashier's there and they want to be a jerk about it. But honestly, most of the time, they just go, okay, because it's only like 20 or 30 bucks. It's not a whole lot. They don't charge you a lot of duty for it. A lot of times they don't want to mess with the paperwork and stuff. But you got to make sure it's legitimately sealed. It's not to be opened. It's got to be properly labeled. Because if you're bringing back stuff like from Oaxaca, where it's in unmarked bottles that aren't sealed and labeled and stuff, I know people that have had them confiscated at the border. Hey, El Mexico. Bienvenido. Welcome. Glad you can make it. So now, every time I travel to Mexico, I usually always get distilleries texting me saying, come by, we want you to see our distillery, come visit us. And I always end up getting bottles as gifts. So I'm going to give you a trick on traveling to Mexico. If you're going to be doing some visiting to distilleries and plan on picking up bottles and stuff while you're there, here's a trick. I have one big suitcase. It's really big. And then I have a smaller suitcase. When I fly out, I take the bigger suitcase and I put the smaller one in it after I pack all my clothes and stuff in the smaller one. And so I'm flying with a big suitcase that has a smaller one in it with all my clothes and all my stuff that I originally packed in the smaller one inside. Then when I get to Mexico, I get to my hotel, I take the small one out. And of course, change my clothes and get all my toiletries and stuff out and use the small one. And then when it's time for me to pack the bags to bring back the bottles that I've been gifted or I purchased while I was there, I wrap them in the clothes, double protect them, make sure you wrap them in bubble wrap, make sure you pack them really good so they don't break, because they throw your luggage around. The airlines do. And I travel with 2 suitcases. And I pay for the extra suitcase, because I normally fly Alaska Airlines out there from here in Los Angeles. And I pack 2 suitcases, and I come back with 2 suitcases. And I have the bottles split up between them. I have never had a bottle break on me. Knock on wood. And I've been to Mexico. I probably go 2-3 times a year, like around there. So there's a trick. I have a big suitcase, and they're hard cases too. They're hard shell cases, no soft cases. And then I put a smaller case in it, and that's the one's also hard shelled. And the smaller one that I used was the second one I bought on that second trip out there that I bought at the mall. So there you go. How about that? Travel stories? What do you guys think? You like them? How about next week? I'll tell you another nightmare story when I was in Mexico. It was horrible. So next week, tune in, and I'll tell you another story. You'll be like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. It's funny though, but it's unbelievable. But remind me next week, and I'll tell you another one. So tune in next week for that. So let's open it up for some questions. We can spend a little more time here, like another 20 minutes or so. You guys have questions? Anything? I think somebody asked something about, what is it? Herradura? Let me see, where is it? Anyone know where you can get a Tropical Ocho bottles? Yeah, I got 2 here on my shelf. Right? You want to see them? I got 2 down here. Actually, I think they're up here now. I moved them up here. Look here. I think I have 2 still. I got Tropical, I got Continental, and Atlantic still. Oh, excuse me. That's what you're looking for? That one? Aged in rum casks? Yes. Tropical was my favorite. It's delicious. It was a while since these came out. What was the date on this? It's been a few years. Does it have a date on it? I don't see a date. Oh, but there it is. Yeah, 2020. 5 years ago. So yeah, I got one of those. Story time with the hombre. There you go. Yes. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed my pain and misery. Everyone always does. It's always fun to hear about other people's pain. Story time with the hombre. Exactly. I got a really good story about one of my more recent trips. I think it was last year. That'll crack you up, but it was not good. And then I'll tell you, well, next week, I'm going to make a note. Let me see for next week. Tell really bad funny story about trip to Mexico. Okay, got it. I made a note. It's hysterical. You guys will laugh. It's really good. I still to this day laugh about it because it's like, oh. And I still give one of my buddies a hard time about it. All right, so let's talk about some other questions here. You guys have any other questions? Things you want to know about? I could tell you that I have another brand that sent me some bottles that I'm going to do a review on. It's called Agave. They sent me some bottles. So I'm going to do that. I have a barrel selection I need to do with Partita. They have a bunch of sample bottles I need to taste through for Partita because the guy keeps mentioning going, have you done our barrel selection? For the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, I do also have samples coming in from El Tesoro. We're going to be doing El Tesoro barrel pick on that, which is always fun. The last couple of times I had Carlos come on and talk with us and do a live stream with us. He's always a blast. Oh, yeah, here. So I got a Bacanora. A friend of mine's working on a Bacanora, so they sent me a Bacanora to review. So I'll be doing this one as well. It should be pretty tasty. It's called Hojas Mágicas. So El Mexico, you should probably like this one. It's a Bacanora made with Angustifolia and Angustifolia because the H is H is silent. Denomination of origin protegida. So Bacanores are always good. I love a good Bacanora. This is from Sonora, Mexico. That'll be really good. So look for that one. What else do we got? They're coming out with another special edition of the Atanasio Origins. So I should be getting that. I think he said within a couple of months. So look for that one too. I did the Fibras y Fuego, which was really good. I really liked it. So if you guys can find bottles of that, grab it. It's a really good high proof Blanco. I think that's pretty much it. So, and I have Ochos on here. You see my Ocho. This is my Ocho collection here. So I have Ochos going all the way back to 2014. So, no, I haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried it. I have the coffee. And what was the other one? Coffee and I forget the other one. But no, I still haven't. I haven't tasted that. I need to do the review on that for them. But it looks interesting, and they're not even 40%, so it's more of a liqueur than it is a tequila. But I have 2 flavored tequilas that Espinita sent me that I need to do, and I got they're double barrel añejo and double barrel reposado, or double aged, or what is it called? I think it's double barrel, double aged, or something like that. So I have those 2 from Espinita. I need to do those for the owner, Patrick, and get those done. And then I've got the new Cierto, the private reserve. I believe it's the private reserve, the more expensive one. I have those 2. I need to do those reviews. So I'm going to be cranking some reviews out here and getting them done for you guys. But then I also had to do some barrel selections for the collective. So I should be getting the El Tesoro one here pretty soon. The problem with doing the Partida one is it's like they sent me this kit. And it's got 6 bottles I got to drink through. There's actually 2 other ones, but they sold those already. So these 6 are the 6 left. And I need to make sure that we like it, do it really good, So, because if it's not something that I really, really like, we don't offer it for the collective. I don't just pick barrels to pick barrels. Yes, people that are members of the collective that buy the barrel. When I pick a barrel, it's normally really good. So I always love it when they do these things where they put a rating on it from the wine enthusiast. It's like, okay, what does the wine enthusiast know about tequila? It's like me doing wine reviews and I give this wine 4 agaves. It's like, what do you know about wine? Like same thing about what they know about tequila. Wine enthusiast gives it a 95. Well, of course they did, because they don't know what the heck they're talking about, and they were paid to do it or something, you know? Double aged, rested in 2. Yeah, 2. No, not 2 different. I think it's just. Let me see. I'll pull one of the bottles. Let me see. I got them right here. Yeah, double barrel. So they're 2 different barrels. Bourbon casks. This is the Reposado, and it's finished in bourbon casks. So the limited barrel reserve edition. So I got the double barrel Reposado and the double barrel Añejo, finished in bourbon casks. Limited reserve edition. Espinita is a really solid brand. No additives. They do it right. They don't get a lot of respect for the quality. So if you want something that's a really moderately priced too, it's not expensive at all. It's a good buy. But they also gave me this looks interesting because I'm not opposed to drinking like the flavored tequila at all. Especially when it's like grapefruit, because this would probably be awesome for palomas. So this is a grapefruit. What's the ABV on it? Just to check. Tequila with 100% agave, natural flavoring. So they use natural flavoring. 70 proof, so 35%. Small batches. So I do grapefruit and I have pineapple. Now I'm not opposed to, mixing a little Paloma up with this or something, but I'll taste it on its own and when I do the review and stuff. But, this is not additive free because tequila doesn't taste like grapefruit on its own without something in it. So of course the grapefruit and the pineapple one of course have natural flavorings in it, but it's not additive free. But the regular tequila is the double barrel, and I've reviewed their regular expressions before. I like their regular expressions, and you used to be able to find them cheap, but it's really moderately priced and a good value tequila. I don't know what their prices are recently because I haven't purchased it in a while, but because I still have bottles of Espinita down here that I need to drink. Not enough time for me to drink all these stuff. So it is a double barrel. So there's two different barrels. And that reminds me, we have I checked with the Camarenas, with Carrera, and the, double barrel añejo is ready to go. So they're shipping it probably this week from Mexico. So it should be on its way to the United States. The double barrel, the double Berica, or double wood, double Madera, I think is what they're calling it. Double wood, because it's in American and French oak. It's American first, and it's finished in French Napa cab barrels. And the flavor on this is ridiculous, you guys. They only did 5 barrels, and this is a project that I did with them. I convinced them to do this, and told them they should do it, and so they did it. So I got to taste all 5 barrels, and they said, whichever one you like the best, you get to pick it. You get to pick it. It's yours for your group. And so I picked the best barrel, and it is by far the best barrel. I mean, leaps and bounds by far. When we did the tasting of it, I had them all 5 lined up, and I'm like, okay, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then took a sip of this one, and I was like, parts of me went, I mean, sorry, ladies, if there's any ladies. I was like, whoa, oh my God. And I'm like, this one. And they like kind of smiled, and and Mauricio and Eduardo looked at each other and went, we knew you were going to pick that one. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, that by far is the best one. So collective members, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And they're doing it at cast strength. So it's 100 and I think 112, 102 proof. That's right. 102. High proof cast strength. They didn't dilute it at all. We took it as it is. How is the Mahia Extraña XA versus the Santa Fina XA? I just ordered. They're very different. They're very different. The Mahia Extraña is good. It's a solid extra añejo. But if you're like, hey, tonight you can have 1 or 2 extra añejos, which one would you feel like drinking? I would probably go with the Santo. But they're different. They're both really good. So I don't like doing comparisons like that because I don't think it's fair. People always like to put tequilas against each other. It's like, oh, that's a really good high proof Blanco. And they're like, oh, well, how does it compare to Ocho Puntas? He goes, well, it doesn't, because I don't have to compare them. They're different. But they're both really good. So it's the same with Mejia Extraña and with Santo Fino. They're both really good. But they have different flavor profiles. So one night I feel like now I feel like I would rather have the flavor profile of the Mejia Extraña. Or I really want to go for the Santo Fino today. It's like, when I have all these tequilas here, people are like, well, what's your favorite reposado? It's like, whatever the one I'm drinking at the time is. And so sometimes I go to the shelf and I'm like, I'm in more of a mood for something more lighter on the repo side, because I don't want as much barrel influence on the one I'm drinking right now. So I'll drink Ocho Repo. Or no, I want something that's really rich with barrel flavor, more complex. So I will go with the Azuñia Repo. So don't forget, Repo, Añejo, Extra Añejo doesn't mean anything about flavor profile. Doesn't mean they're going to taste the same. Because all it basically signifies is time in the barrel. And if I'm using a new oak barrel, I can put tequila in a new oak barrel, or a newer oak barrel, one that hasn't been used for that long, and run it for 6 months, and it could taste like an añejo. Are the flavor profiles much different when heated? You don't want to heat tequila. Don't heat tequila. But the Repo Añejo doesn't signify a flavor profile. All it means is time in a barrel. So Repo is from 2 months up to a year. Añejo starts at a year and goes up to 3 years. So if it's 3 years, it's Extra Añejo. But I can call an Extra Añejo a Repo. I can call an Extra Añejo an Añejo. I can call an Añejo a Repo. Or I can call an Extra Añejo an Añejo. I can call anything older something younger. Except for Blanco. But a Blanco can be rested in a barrel for up to 2 months. So you can have Blancos that see the inside of a barrel. There's some that are rested. So it doesn't mean anything. So when people say, oh, so I must be a reposado person, I could pull a bottle out and say, okay, yeah, really? Then try this. This is a Repo. And they can try that and go, no, this tastes more like an Añejo. Really, which Añejo? Because that's a Repo. People get so confused and think it represents a flavor profile or an aging profile, but it doesn't. Because there's G4, when he puts it in a 25-year Dickel barrel, there's hardly anything left in the wood, so it adds a little bit of color. They're very light. People look at G4 Extra Añejo and they go, that's a really light Extra Añejo, because they don't re-char it, and they took all the char out when they aged the Dickel in it for 25 years. It just puts a little bit of the flavor from the barrel in it because it's all been sucked out from the bourbon that was in it previously. What was that? What do you think the impact is going to be? Oh, potential tariffs combined with the overall drop in alcohol. I talked about that in the beginning. Yeah. You can watch it from the beginning. You can see it's, what's a good Repo that gives you the age characteristics, heavy barrel influence of an Añejo or an Extra Añejo? Well, Azuñia Repo is a really good one if you like a good barrel influence on it. The Nuevo Uno Reposado Deep is a good one if you want a heavy barrel influence. The Espanita Double Barrel Reposado is a good one. What are some other good reposados with heavy barrel? Yeah, and Azuñia is really good for good barrel mix. I've been drinking this stuff forever. It's really solid. It's a solid repo. So it's got a nice barrel presence in it. Even the Dos Angeles Reposado is good too. So those are some good ones to check out. They're readily available. You can find them all over the place. Or you can find them on Ferment and Still, which is a great agave website, agave store. I know because I partner with them. I curate it. I dictate everything that goes on the store. So I know they have a great selection because I'm the one that sends them a message and says, hey, I know this brand's really good. I want you to add it to the store. And this is the distributor. So pick up 3 cases. And so then they'll say, okay. And they order it, put it up on the store. And then I post it on the Discord first and say, hey guys, we just got this stuff in. Grab it because we're going to broadcast it out to everybody else, but you get first shot for being Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective members. Anytime something hits, I always post it in the Discord first. It's my way. It's another way of adding a perk where they all get to first access to stuff before Ferment and Still sends out their marketing emails to tell everybody else about it. All right. Any other questions? Any other stuff you want to talk about? Was that Ferment and Still is great for someone like me who doesn't have much of a good stuff. So you have my, oh, you're welcome. Yeah. The nice thing about Ferment and Still is you cannot buy a bad bottle on there. So if you don't know what to buy, look in your price range at whatever looks good and pick something. There is not a bad bottle on there. They're all good quality stuff, no additives, made right traditionally. We only stock the stuff that I know is good and I know it doesn't have additives. That's the only stuff that they'll put on that website. It's geared towards people that care about the quality of the tequila they want to drink. People that don't, they can go shop someplace else. But the reason why that site exists is because it allows people like you that care about the tequila that you drink to be able to get good stuff. But then also we use the proceeds to be able to support the producers that are doing it right. Like El Tesoro, Cascoin, Carrera, Casa San Matias, all the people that we buy barrels from, and G4. We do a lot of stuff with G4. I was one of the first people talking about G4. And they actually hired me a couple of times where I actually went up and educated people on G4 at a couple of tequila tasting and margarita events and stuff. So that was fun. So I actually done work for them. I have a polo shirt with G4 on stuff on it. So I've got a good connection with G4. And then, Felipe and I are really good friends. And like, what is this? Any update? Any update? No, I haven't heard anything from him on the extra añejo yet. I know it's a project. It's in the works, so it's probably going to be a little ways out. So as soon as I know about it, I will post it on the Discord and let people know about it. Rick says, got my first taste of great tequila from a spot named Tequila. Yeah, in Philly, yeah, who's seemingly endless tequila list. Yes, David Suro owns tequila. David Suro owns tequila. He's the one that owns Siembra Valles and Siembra Azul and Siembra Alteña now. Those are his brands. And he imports Cascaween for him. So he brings Cascaween to the United States. And he also owns some Siembra Mezcals and stuff that he brings in too. He does some Mezcals and stuff. But that's David Suro's place, Philly. I think it's back. I think it's open again though after the fire. I think it's open. I talk to David all the time. And you can actually watch the review. I think he was actually in the restaurant when I did the review with him, when I did the interview with him. So if you look up David Suro on the channel, you can see the interview I did with him. He's the one that owns that restaurant. So David Ravandi is a very underrated tequilero. Yes. I don't know if he's underrated because his stuff is always really good. But with 123 Organic and then El Luchador, and he did Diablito and the Diablito Roja, which is really good. Or Diablito Rojo. You guys, any of you guys old enough to remember the Diablito Rojo? It's really good. Let's see if I have a bottle. I think I have a bottle here somewhere. Where's the Rojo? The Rojo might be in there, but I have. Now this is just a regular Diablito. David Ravandi is a good friend of mine, and he's a big wine guy. So some of the best tequilas, some of the best, were made by wine guys. Colin Edwards, the guy that's the tequila maker for Cascanas, is a wine guy as well. Knows wine really well. Anyone else get bitterness on the finish from Don Abraham and Yeho? No, I don't get any bitterness on the finish. I love the Don Abraham and Yeho. I don't get any bitterness. Well, it depends. It's like not like every bottle tastes the same. So, how old's the bottle? What was the condition of the bottle when you bought it? That's one thing that people don't need to understand as well, is that every batch tastes completely different. It's the nature of the beast with this. So it's like, hey, did anybody taste the bitterness on the finish of Don Abraham? Well, what was the batch number that you're drinking? Because one could have a little bitterness on the finish, and one could be absolutely splendid and awesome with no bitterness at all. It's not like every single bottle tastes the same. It doesn't. So you want to try something really funny or interesting, buy a couple bottles, but buy them at different times when they're different batch numbers. And a lot of times the batch numbers are printed on the back. And write them down. And then sometime pop them open and pour them side by side and taste them side by side, and they'll taste different, completely different. They won't taste the same. So when you say you taste the bitterness on Don Abraham, it could taste completely different. Don Abraham is, what you give people like 19, exactly. Well, it's not necessarily, they end up liking it. Well, I turn them on to Casa San Matias, the San Matias Gran Reserva. I love the Don Abraham Añejo. It's like, I don't know, low 212 ADA. What one do I have? Let me see. I don't know what batch mine was at, but I haven't had any problems with bitterness. So maybe your bottle was abused by whoever you bought it from. I haven't had any problems with them. Have you ever reviewed General Gloria Stieta Blanco? Yes, I did when it first came out. I haven't reviewed the high proof yet, but yeah, I did. If you look on the channel, it's on the channel. I did the Joven and the Blanco. Ferment and Still was one of the first to get it because he actually wanted us to be one of the places that sold it. And so, but then he lied to me and pissed me off. So hoping to get some Raysol in my life for the next splurge purchase. Gonna look nice next. Well, we have a barrel of Raysol 10-year 20th anniversary coming. I selected another barrel. We did 2 before. We just did another one, and it's in process. So Rick is a new member of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective. You will get access to a Tequila Hombre hand-selected barrel of Raysol that has the proprietary Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective medallion on it with our logo. So it's good, really good. I really like the one that we were able to get. So Rocio, who's the master tequilero there, and master distiller and barrel mixer, barrel blender. I've gotten to know her over the years. We're good friends. When she hears I'm there and I'm doing a tasting, she always comes personally down from the distillery down to their offices to do it, to give me a hug and say hi and taste through, because she really thinks I have a great palate, and she really enjoys tasting stuff through with me. So she knows what I like, and whenever she has something really good that she finds that she's like, oh, Tequila Hombre would like this, then she lets me know and we set that up. So
you mean like, oh yeah, baby, it's gonna make you wanna sing. Oh yeah. Got my Raysol, baby, got it in my hands, and I'm just like, baby, when you come and sit with me like this and I pour you in my glass, something happens to me that it's magic, and my mouth starts to water, and then all of a sudden, I gotta sing. Oh yeah.
like that? Like that? Happens to me all the time. Every time I start talking about Raysol. So, and then there's like,
Oh sure, talking about Raysol and you doing all that sexy stuff about it, and just, you should be ashamed of yourself. That's almost pornographic, you pig. You misogynist.
Sorry. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the tequila police show up.
Hey, that's...
Alright. We understand you're doing crude and obnoxious things to a glass bottle inside. Please come out with your hands up. This is the Tequila Police. Don't make us come in there. It will be dangerous and bad for you.
And then I have the devil sitting on my shoulder going,
don't listen to them. Do it. Do it anyways.
And then,
You better not do it. I'm telling you. You better not do it.
what is that? Pedro, what do you say? The barrel loses volume when aging. Angel share. But does it lose more volume with high strength alcohol? It always loses volume, Pedro. Now there is a difference. Okay, if it's too wet in the barrel room, like too humid, you'll lose alcohol, so you lose ABV. If it's not too humid, if it's drier, then you lose water, and so it actually will get higher proof when it's in the barrel. You'll lose because you lose water and not alcohol. So there's a little science stuff for you that you probably didn't know. So one of the problems that Felipe Camarena had at El Pendillo is that the water table underneath the distillery, when it rained and got rainy season there, the water table came too high, and he used to get water in his cellar where he had his barrels, and so it was always too moist and humid in there. And so when he did the high proof stuff, he couldn't go 110 proof on the extra Añejos and stuff because he was losing ABV. So when he first did the 5 years, they were at 90 proof because he couldn't go higher because he lost ABV because of how wet it was, how humid it was in his cellar. So he's building a new barrel area now, and it's going to be, humidity control and stuff on it. So he'll be able to do higher proofs and without having to worry about losing ABV. Instead, it'll lose water and possibly gain ABV. They had the same issue at Fortaleza when we used to age in the cava. So they now don't age in the cava anymore. You drink in the cava when you go visit the distillery. Can you get Excelencia for Yes, you can. Now, the nice thing about buying expensive bottles in Mexico is that the Mexican people don't typically buy expensive bottles. So you can see Tapatía Excelencia sitting in still liter bottles up on the shelves in retail stores in Mexico for pretty reasonable prices because they don't like to spend money on expensive bottles. So but any place that tourists go to shop, though, you're not going to find them. You got to go to the stores that aren't touristy stores, and then you'll be able to find them. Oh, yeah, you like the voice? I get a bunch of voices. I've done it before. I used to do the Cascanes elves, but now we call them the Carrera elves. Have you ever heard the Carrera elves? I have that voice too. I haven't done that one in a while. Let's see if that's this one, I think.
Hello. Yes, this is the Cascanes elves. We're in our cave here in the jungle in Osta Tipiquillo, and we were making Cascanes, and we were wondering, why are you not talking about Cascanes anymore like you used to? So, as soon as you're done, we'd appreciate it if you talked about Cascanes, even though we don't make it anymore because they found a different distillery to use, and they're using different elves that aren't nearly as good as we are, so now we're working with Carrera. We're the Carrera elves, and we really enjoyed working with you on the Carrera 54, and we look forward to getting our barrel of the double Madeira and Añejo, because we think you'd really like it. If you don't talk about it, we'll hunt you down, and we'll haunt you and your family, okay?
There you go. The elves are brutal sometimes. They can be really mean and psycho. So, but they're the Carrera elves now. They love their yes, Don Julio, Maestro Doble. They love the Jose Cuervo traditional too. Now you got to answer that question, Hombre. What question? What question's that? What question is he talking about? What question, Mario? Oh, the question about the barrel? Do the barrel answer with...
When we're in our cave and it's really wet down here, alcohol goes bye-bye. But if it's dry, because Francis over here is snoring and sucking all the air in, then we lose water and it gets higher ABV.
Solo performance. Yep, front row. There you go. Oh, why don't you talk about... Oh, because Cascanes is not worth talking about anymore. They changed their distillery, and it's not as good as it used to be. And they don't send me stuff to review anymore, so I think they're afraid I'm going to say that it's not good, which, I give honest reviews. But they sent me the Rosa and the Rosa Blanco and the Rosa Repo. And I like the Rosa Repo, but the Rosa Blanco was not something I preferred. But they don't send me stuff anymore, so I don't. I talk about the brands that send me bottles to do reviews. That's what we do, right? Otherwise, we don't talk about them because there's nothing to talk about. Nothing to talk about. Not that I have anything against them, but they changed distilleries, and when that happened, I used to get bottles all the time from them. Now they don't send them anymore. There you go. Yes, they got plenty of people. They do pay a lot of influencers. Oh, I can tell you another story for another week about something like that. Ooh, we got some good content for the next couple of weeks, you guys. So you want to make sure you block off Thursdays on your calendar, because I'll tell you a story about a trip to Mexico and some things that people were telling me. I got some good stories. So we'll have story time every week here for the next couple of weeks. But that reminds me of a really good story that I can tell you, but it'll be 2 weeks. Next week, I'll tell you the really funny bad story. And the next time I'll tell you the really funny kind of what story. So mark off Thursday, 6:30. Make sure you're here for those good stories. Make sure you guys, hey, click the thumbs up and give me a like. There's only 16 likes. We have 28 people on here. Come on, you guys, click the thumbs up. Everybody that hasn't clicked the thumbs up, give me a like. Give me a like right now. I spent almost 2 hours with you guys now. Come on. Click the likes. Give me thumbs ups. All right. I'm going to call it a night, guys. Thanks so much for coming and spending Thursday night with me. I know it's late for some of you guys too. It's 11, almost 11:30. So on the East Coast, it's 8:20 here on the West Coast. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys. Make sure you watch for the reviews coming up. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like it, like all the videos. And if you want to become a member of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, we'd love to have you. The link is in the description. Come join. It's a fun group. We get some access to some really good tequilas. And then also, when I find stuff that's on sale at places that's really good prices, I always post them to the Discord so they get the benefit of that too. What is Tater? Love it, Mark. Yeah, you were here Tater's an old school guy. He's been here for a while, so he was here when I was doing all the voices and stuff before. You need my opinion on Ensueño. I think Ensueño's good. They do all these different batches. They haven't sent me any updated batches yet, but I liked the first batch they sent me. I thought it was good. They changed. I did this. I had the first one, and I think I had the second one where they changed it. It was Woodford Reserve barrel or something like that they rested it in. It was good. I like it. I like Ensueño. Oh, you also, okay, I can tell you the story about that. Yeah, that was an experience. I will definitely tell that story as well, Mario. Just remind me. It'll have to be like the week after. So week 3, I'll tell that story. Okay, just remind me. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Weller barrel. Yeah, I'm going to do the reserve on the Weller barrel. I'll do the review on that. The Corazon de Agave. This is available on Ferment and Still. They gave me a bottle to do the review on it because I said, hey, I have some people that asked for that. So remember, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila, guys. So, hey, watch other videos on the channel. Like them when you watch them with all the great information I give with you, and try some of those tequilas. And if you really want some exceptional stuff too, come join the Tequila Barrel Agave Collective. Be part of our community. You'll get access to me asking questions and stuff all the time, as well as you'll be part of a really great community of a bunch of people, and we'd love to see you there. All right.